Hi, I'm Cash with CashedOutCars, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how much money I've put into my 1993 Miata. So I bought this car 4 years ago in July of 2015, and it's been a project car that I've modified. I've made it pretty much a fun street car that's also pretty capable at autocross events. So like I said, I bought this thing as a project. When I picked up the car it was $1,000, so we're going to start with $1,000 and go from here. So this video is pretty much going to go in chronological order of parts that I've bought for the car. And the very first thing that I bought was a cam angle sensor O-ring, and that goes on the back of the engine there where the cam angle sensor is, and that fixes an oil leak. So that was about $5. And then when I first bought the car, I also picked up a car cover for it, which honestly I haven't used very much, but that was $54. And then I also did the rain rail pretty much right when I got the car, because that's a piece that basically directs the rain as it comes down off of the top here, and that was cracked and old and I didn't want a musty, moldy car, so I picked up a new one of those for about $50. Then I did some body work on this thing. I did replace this rocker here, and I did all the work on that myself. And then I also bondoed and painted the passenger front fender over here, which also came out pretty good. And it might be a bit of a low estimate, but I'm going to estimate $25 for paint and bondo for that. And the reason I'm estimating that is I already had some of those supplies, and I already did have some of the metal that I put in that rocker. So like I said, $25 for that. Then I picked up these TSW wheels and Falcon Azenas tires, and I spent $200 initially on those. These tires though are actually not the original ones that were on here. I'll talk about these a little bit later. Coming back to the engine here, I did pick up an air filter for the car that was just the OEM replacement, and that was about $15. And throughout the 7,000 miles of owning this car, I would estimate that I've spent about $100 on oil changes and filters. I also got some stock shocks when I picked up this car because the ones were in there were pretty shot, so I picked those up, but I later sold those, and that was $50 to buy them, and I got $50 for them. And then I put this on Yonaka coilovers, which were $425. Around that time, I also replaced all the suspension bushings in this car with poly bushings, and that was $168. And then going into the interior, which will be a little bit hard to see, I did put a Boss Frog roll bar in there, and that cost me $300 used off of Craigslist. And then at that same time, I bought 3 sets of racing harnesses and a top frame, which was $20. I sold those harnesses for an estimated $50, and I kept the top frame. After I put the car on these coilovers, I was adjusting the camber with the stock camber adjustment bolts, and one of those snapped, so I bought a new kit of those, and that was $108. And then also after running the Falcon Azenas tires that were on there for a bit, they got pretty bald, and I bought this new set for $325. Moving back to the interior of the car here, we have these Sparco Sprint 5 seats, and I picked up the pair of those for $462. And then about that same time, I picked up roll bar padding for this thing, which was $50, a harness bar, which was about $150, and then at that time I bought racing harnesses for $150 that I later sold for $80, and basically bought these stock style seat belts for $150. A few last things that I bought for this car were Boss Frog frame rails, which I actually haven't installed, but those were $135. I did the clutch on this car, which was $160 for the complete kit with a flywheel. I bought brake pads and rotors, which once again I haven't installed yet, but those were $100. And then some other just random things is I needed a bracket to adapt those new seat belts, which were about $30. So guys, in total, 4 years of ownership, plenty of mods, plenty of fun, and all in all, just a really good time. I've spent about $4,300 on this car, plus or minus a little bit, because there are some parts that I've made custom, and some parts that I've had my dad help me with, specifically upholstery for the steering wheel and the roll bar cover, that aren't included in the price. But overall, like I said, $4,300, pretty much it for how much I've spent on the Miata in 4 years. If you're looking into project cars to build, I would totally look at Miatas because they have a huge aftermarket parts availability, and they're not very expensive to pick up initially, and there's just tons that you can do with them. So if you're interested in seeing more on this Miata and Miata how-tos, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope you stick around for more.